Over the past year of running my creative business, we've accumulated a lot of gear. As a photographer, videographer, or any creative service provider, it's your job to be well equipped to handle your clients' needs. So this is the gear that I use to run my creative business. My primary camera is the Sony a6700, which is the camera that you're seeing the image from right now. I've been shooting on this camera daily for the past 18 months, and it handles everything I throw at it. From high-speed shooting and sports photography, to long interview shoots, and run-and-gun documentary. The Sony a6700 can truly do it all. The primary lens that I use is the Sigma 18-50 f2.8. In my opinion, this is the best APS-C lens money can buy. It's small, lightweight, super unintrusive, the autofocus is fast, and the image that you get is so sharp. Sigma knocked it out of the park with all of their APS-C lenses, but I think that the 18-50 f2.8 really takes the cake. Because of this lens's great versatility, it stays on my camera pretty much all the time. But there are times whenever you need a little bit more reach, and for that I use the Tamron 70-180 2.8 Mark II. This is a very good prosumer grade telephoto lens that gives you that 2.8 aperture and plenty of reach. As previously mentioned, we do a good amount of sports photography in my business, and having a lot of zoom with a fast aperture is absolutely essential. Being able to get down to f2.8 at those dark high school football games comes in super clutch. Overall, I would highly recommend the Tamron 70-180 to anybody who's looking to get into sport photography, outdoor photography, really anything that you need some reach for and you don't want to spend those $2,000 and $3,000 prices for those G Master lenses. Having a rig as a videographer is so important. Your camera needs to be ergonomic, easy to use, easy to carry around, and have all the tools that you need to document and execute perfectly for your client. So these are some of the pieces of my camera rig that I use all the time. The base of any camera rig is gonna be the cage. I've used the Falcam f38 cage for the Sony 6700 for about a year now, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Along with the cage, I use the f38 top grip and side grip, also made by Falcam. It just works perfectly together in making a really good camera rig for what I need. Another essential part of my camera rig is going to be the FeelWorld F5 monitor. And adding a camera monitor to your rig completely changes the way that you shoot, and it's so difficult to go back to shooting without a monitor once you've been able to do it once. The primary function of the camera monitor for me is giving me a bigger, brighter display for long outside shoots, also giving me tools such as focus peaking or zebras to be able to make sure that my image is in focus and that I'm exposing the image properly. For the price, I think it's really difficult to beat this monitor, but there are a ton of options out there. But overall, the FeelWorld monitor that I use is really good for everything that I throw at it. And for all of the accessories that I use on my rig, you're gonna have to have some way to power it. I use the SmallRig V-mount system, both the battery and the plate. There are so many options for V-mount batteries out there, but SmallRig is a brand that I've used their products in the past. This is a pretty recent addition to my kit, so I don't know all of the exact statistics on it. However, I can tell you that between running my monitor, camera, and any other accessories that I've used, I can get about 4 to 5 hours off of my 99-watt battery, which is generally speaking more than enough to get me through most shoots that we do. And rounding out this camera accessory section is going to be the Freewell magnetic filter system. I hate variable ND filters. I've only had bad experiences. And so the Freewell magnetic system gives me fixed ND filters that I'm able to just pop on and off the front of my lens very quickly. It doesn't provide the flexibility that a variable ND filter does, but you don't get color shifting or vignetting, and for me, that's good enough. Next up is some of the audio gear that I use. The great thing about audio gear is there's so much good out there. With that being said, the primary mics that I use for almost everything are the Rode Wireless Go 2s, which is what you're hearing audio through right now. I've been using these mics for about 4 years now, which is insane to think about. And I've used them for things such as these YouTube videos, client projects, documentary interviews, and kind of everything in between. They are truly my go-tos. I know exactly what they're gonna do for me every time that I plug them in. And they're just such a safe tool for me to have in my kit whenever I know that I need to get good audio. I also have a Joby Shotgun Mic. This is a pretty new addition to the kit, and I haven't been able to give it a super great whirl. With that being said, the times that I have used it, I've been very impressed with the audio quality. A shotgun mic is really good to have on top of your camera whenever you're just trying to get diegetic audio, and it's really good for run and gun documentary behind the camera kind of work, which is the reason why I added it to my kit. Now, with accumulating a lot of gear, one of the big questions is how do I get all of this stuff around? That's a question that we struggled with for a really long time, but the system that I have worked out for my own gear is pretty solid. The backbone of my gear transportation needs is the Nomatic Luma Peter McKinnon backpack. This bag's versatility and compact size is really great for lightweight shoots, run and gun, or really any kind of a photography project. I love the versatility of the inside layer and the dividers, And I also love the back panel organization system with the zippers. Having a good camera bag is really valuable. It gives you that peace of mind that your gear is always going to be safe. But when it's time to bring a lot of gear to a shoot, I break out the Nanuk 935 roller case. What a product this case is, let me tell you. This is maybe my favorite thing that I've ever purchased from B&H. It is an absolute beast and it handles everything that I need it to handle. I'm able to pack entirely too heavy with way more gear than I'm ever gonna need. And it's perfect for those big production jobs. Think interviews, documentary production, weddings. I have the 935 with the padded divider insert and also the roof organizer. And if you're looking into a case, I highly recommend exactly that. The padded divider insert and also the roof organizer. The roof organizer has been really valuable, especially for all of the little knickknacks and stuff that you kind of need to carry around. Anything that you can think of that's kind of little and stupid that you don't think that you should need on the shoot, the roof organizer is so good for being able to pack little things like that. But if you're in the market for a roller case, something in the Pelican Nanuk kind of world, I can't recommend the Nanuk 935 more. It is such a great product, genuinely. Next, I want to talk about some specialized shooting gear. This is stuff that any good video production company should have, and stuff that you can't supplement footage for. And let's start with the gimbal, the Ronin RS4. So I've never shot on a gimbal before until we got the RS4. We added it to our kit about 3 months ago, and it's been an absolute tank. Like I said, I've never really used a gimbal before, so I was very nervous and kind of concerned, honestly, about balancing the gimbal. But because of the smooth material that the RS4 is made out of, balancing the axes is pretty easy. The small size of the Ronin makes it really easy to not be super intrusive, and carrying it around is not super bad either because it's not that heavy. And the auto lock feature is such a lifesaver. I can't even imagine a gimbal not having that. Like, it's such an obvious thing. The fact that no other gimbal has that is insane to me. But I've been really impressed with the RS4, and from a not very experienced gimbal user, DJI made it really easy for me to get my foot in the door and make some really good content with it. The drone that I use is the DJI Mini. It's kind of old, it's kind of outdated, and it's not like the greatest drone on the market, but it gets the job perfectly done. When it comes to drone shots, I believe you can really overdo it. And at the end of the day, the whole point of a drone is that it's a camera that can get really high in the sky. You can get a really bird's eye perspective. So to me, it's not about being able to shoot in 6K. There are features that the more premium drones have that I think are really great features, but I just don't see as a necessity in our workflow. I love the DJI Mini because I can pop it out really fast. It's super small and easy to transport, and because it's under the 250 gram threshold, there's a lot more flexibility with the whole legal aspect. Overall, DJI Mini, can't recommend it enough, especially if you're kind of a newer and inexperienced drone pilot. You can't go wrong, especially for the price point, and it still gets you those shots that you're looking for. Now, this is the section of the video that is least interesting but most useful to anybody out there who is kind of new into the production/gear world. The more and more shoots you do, the more and more common problems that you're able to identify and pack for accordingly. Here are some things that live in my Nanuk and in my camera bag that are kind of miscellaneous. They're not very sexy, but they're super helpful, especially whenever the problems start happening. Number one is gaff tape. I cannot tell you how many times we've needed to mark the floor for people to stand on, tape down tripwire cables, attach lapel mics to black shirts. The uses for gaff tape are truly limitless, and it's such an important thing to have in your kit. A simple 2-inch wide roll, let it live in your Nanuk or your Pelican case, and it will get you out of so many sticky situations, trust. Another addition that I love is blue tape, masking tape, and a thin point Sharpie pen. You never know when you're gonna be on shoots or on set with other photographers and videographers, and marking and labeling your gear is really valuable. You should always have your initials written on your batteries or on cases that are matching. If you both have RS4 Ronins and you both have the little DJI case, put a way to identify which one is yours on there. Another addition that I keep in my Nanuk all the time are Apple EarPods. The reason that these are good, or any wired earbuds are good, is because you can plug in and monitor your audio anywhere and it's not super loud like putting on headphones. I use these for nothing else except for shoots, so they literally just live in the Nanuk all the time. That way, if I ever need to monitor, ever need to see what kind of sound we're getting out of whatever audio recorder we're using, it's easy to do it and it's not crazy putting on headphones in the back of a wedding or something. This one may be a little bit obvious, but having a microfiber somewhere, and really like 5 or 6 everywhere, is super valuable. Lenses get smudged up, stuff gets dusty. Keep microfibers around, keep them in your pockets, keep them in your camera bag, Nanuk, everywhere. The newest addition to my daily carry gear is the Insta360 Go 3S. I literally got this a couple days ago, so I haven't been able to give it its real true colors yet. So far though, I really love it. Being able to shoot inconspicuously kind of POV style content is really valuable, and the 4K image that this thing produces seems really solid. We're gonna talk more about that in a later video. So that is all of the gear that I'm using to run my creative business. We're actually shooting a wedding tomorrow, so that's the reason why this video kind of gets made. Everything's packed, everything's loaded, and everything's top of mind. So if you have any questions about gear or equipment, or what kind of services we do, and you're curious just about what kind of stuff we use for certain different kind of jobs, drop me a comment. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. And if you have a creative business, you're a photographer, videographer, whatever you are, tell me what kind of stuff you guys use in the comments. I'm always looking to talk about gear. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. My name is Austin. I'm a photographer and videographer based in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if you like content like this, drop me a like, comment, subscribe. And if you have any questions or anything like that I can answer, drop it in the comments, DM me on IG. For real, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, I remember old times, recording in the closet, those were dope times. Saying I'ma blow up in like no time. Always had the self-belief this whole time.